No more Shama.
What is up, y'all? It's your boy Jermaine Main on MMA, and today we are checking out a video from the channel GeeKay. I'm looking at this video here. I'm not sure what the issue is. Maybe it's with the camera. Maybe it's with OBS. I'm not sure what the issue is, but I look like I'm like, if you guys ever seen the movie Scanner Darkly, it's what this shit looks like. Like I'm wearing that suit. My face is gonna change at any point, is what it seems like. I'm not sure how to fix that at the moment, but let's check out this video from the homie GeeKay about why so many UFC fighters crash out. See what he has to say about this. I'll react during and at the end, ladies and gents. Let's go.
There are plenty of normal and well-adjusted UFC fighters, and some like Georges St-Pierre and Beneil Dariush could be used as
well-adjusted. All right, well-adjusted UFC fighters. GSP, abducted by aliens. Beneil Dariush, devout Christian.
shining examples for what good human beings fighters can be. But it sometimes seems like competing in MMA disproportionately causes people to crash out.
Nick!
What?
Are you alright?
Yes.
I'm putting this up because she's saying that she's going to get an attorney and try to do something.
I hate you.
Oh, shit.
Let's face it, we see it a lot, especially as fighters get older, and the more I pay attention to how this behavior progresses, the more I'm starting to see a pattern forming. And it seems like it's largely the result of having a specific background combined with a certain personality type. Let me show you what I mean with some examples. At first glance, you might not think that Nick Diaz, BJ Penn, and Jon Jones have much in common, but all three share a similarity in the way they were brought up. They were all somewhat sheltered, BJ and Jon for reasons that were self-imposed, as BJ was fully immersed in jiu-jitsu and Jon was the runt of his family, who was the only one that didn't seem destined for the NFL, so he was preoccupied with finding an alternative path all throughout his formative years. And Nick simply didn't see much hope for success following the traditional route, so in his mind he had no choice but to fully commit himself to training from an early age.
I don't have a job now, that's what I do, I fight, you know, and if I don't get paid fighting, then or if I don't get this done fighting, then I'm pretty out of luck. So I'm gonna have to do it right.
All three were extremely focused and didn't allow any room for distractions, which obviously benefited them greatly in their careers, but it also left them a bit socially stunted when it came to interpersonal relationships, which in turn left them extremely vulnerable to falling to temptations that regular people already experienced and learned to moderate. And once the floodgates of success opened, everyone around them wanted a piece of them, and it was particularly bad because the UFC headquarters are located in Las Vegas, with Dana White himself being in love with the city.
I love everything about this city.
I hate it.
This city, first of all, I love America. Okay. I love this country. And one of the things that I love about this country is that it is truly the land of opportunity, right? You and I are both proof of that, right? Right. Doesn't matter where you come from or how you were raised or anything else. If you have the right mindset and you go after something, it can happen in this country. Yes. I look at Vegas as like a little America. Vegas is exactly like America. When you come to this city and you have the right idea and you're willing to work hard enough, anything is possible in this city. And there's nowhere else in the world that you can go out with $200, have a great dinner, go out and party all night, have a blast, see some shows, do this and that, and come home with $1,000. There's no other place in the world that you can do that. This city, you can do that. But on the flip side, this is also one of those cities that if you don't have the right mindset,
there's casinos
can chew you up
everywhere
and spit you out in 2 seconds. Right.
Fighters are treated like royalty in Vegas, especially after winning a fight that was just held there, being offered VIP treatment everywhere they go. And that level of temptation would be a lot to handle for anybody, but especially for a person that was relatively insulated prior to that moment. And more often than not, it causes them to lose their inhibitions and completely fly off the handle. And while the beginning stages usually happen behind the scenes, we got a glimpse into how it looks during the Ultimate Fighter 7 when a finalist in Jesse Taylor got kicked off for doing exactly that.
And if that wasn't bad enough, then he went into the hotel and started terrorizing some of the female guests. And when he was approached by security, he started flipping out and getting hostile with them and basically telling them, you know who I am? I'm a UFC fighter. And that don't cut it. Bro, you're not even famous yet. What the are you gonna be like when you start making money and everybody wants your autograph? You're not ready. The bottom line is, you're out, bro.
Things really get bad when fighters become inactive, either due to retirement, injury, or suspension, and that's when it really began to go downhill for Nick Diaz, who was more or less a hermit throughout the majority of his career, but began to party non-stop when he had nothing else to look forward to. And receiving the attention that he missed out on for almost 3 decades eventually caused him to completely go off the rails. The drinking on the weekends quickly turned into drinking every day, which naturally caused him to get into substances, which allowed him to drink even more. And once that was no longer enough, he moved on to things that were even harder, relying on people around him to keep him supplied and happy, which led to him completely losing his autonomy and finding himself bouncing from house to house with no real place that he could call home, and being surrounded by people who just looked at him as a shiny ticket to get free things, while stuck in codependent relationships with women who were just as mentally damaged as he was. And as the years rolled by, he became less and less relevant as an MMA fighter, no longer being in his 20s or even 30s, alienating his true friends and becoming old news to the coat riders after losing his status and most of his fame. With every fighter from his generation either retiring or fading into obscurity, he became a whoa, what happened to him story seemingly overnight.
We're doing alright. We're here, moving around. G-Boy found me. He found me out here, you know. I mean, I was half dead when he found me. I was, you know, born to make a bitch of a mother. I didn't, you know, have much going on. He took me on in, and now here we are, so.
And when I speak about harder substances with Nick, the alleged drug that I heard he uses from, in my opinion, very reliable sources is meth. And I feel like it's important to identify it by name because allegedly that seems to be the drug of choice for a lot of fighters. And it's what causes them to go on these manic and irrational rants, and it's what I believe made Conor McGregor do this.
Jake's a consummate professional.
Meth?
75 movies made. You know, I'm blessed to have entered into the movie alongside him. He was patient with me.
Yeah, weird.
He gave me guidance, and I just took
I guess I didn't think that was
we had a
coke.
good rapport on set. He has 75 movies made. I have 75 bar fights made. And that's it. We had a good back and forth.
And what I believe made BJ Penn do this.
This lady right here, look at her ass and legs. She's acting like my 79-year-old
Look at her
mother,
ass and legs.
but she's not my 79-year-old mother. And it's interesting when you Google Lorraine Abelet, our house pops up because this lady acts like Lorraine Inouye. So you Google Lorraine Abelet, and this house pops up, and then you look him, and then my mom's name starts popping up. She's trying to steal everything, and this is not my mother. And I'm putting this up because she's saying that she's gonna get an attorney and try to do something. She's trying to throw me out, and if I attack her, she'll try to do something, TRO or something else.
Meth-induced psychosis is a real phenomenon defined by delusions and hallucinations, and from BJ Penn's behavior over the past several years and the rumors surrounding him, I believe that this is less a case of CTE like many seem to speculate than it is drug-induced clinical insanity. Unlike Nick, BJ partied throughout the early stages of his career, but it seemed to fall within the realm of regular binge drinking common for people his age. But as he hit a downslide competitively, so did his behavior, and we began to be exposed to videos of him getting into brawls outside of bars, as well as a multitude of issues with the law that were a clear precursor to what's happening with him now. And him and Nick are not isolated incidents. Jason Mayhem Miller also fell victim to his lifestyle as his career began to fade, becoming erratic and unhinged in a very real way and not just for comedic purposes like he was when he was younger.
You don't get vetted. Just, hey, are you willing to fight? Can you pass this CAT scan? Do you have AIDS or hepatitis? No, you're in.
That's the test?
Yes.
You didn't have to pass a background check?
Why would you?
No?
They already knew I was like involved with the law a bunch of times, and yeah.
It wasn't an issue.
Thankfully, Mayhem Miller is doing a lot better now, showing that the effects are somewhat reversible, and hopefully the same will be said about BJ Penn and Nick Diaz in the future. There's one more thing that I have yet to touch on, and that is CTE. I personally don't believe that it plays as much of a role as everyone seems to think, but with the average onset of symptoms being 42, it does seem to correspond with the age that a lot of these fighters tend to crash out. And while I don't think it's the main culprit, it definitely can't be helping. At the end of the day, the reason why I think a lot of UFC fighters seem seem to find themselves in this hole. They fail to develop any kind of structure or identity outside of being fighters, so when that's taken away from them, even briefly, they lose their minds due to a lack of purpose, hoping to get that dopamine rush elsewhere. And with the newfound status and fame that they have developed, they find themselves in circles where everything is given to them for free and everyone wants to be their friend. In a city where just about everything is possible, and weekends turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months into years, and before you know it, you're Conor McGregor, visibly high as a kite, holding a press conference in the middle of the White House.
So we wish for our relationship with the United States to continue, and we wish to be taken care of by the big bro. You know, the United States should look after its little bro. And that's how we feel.
And these are just the stories we know about. A lot of the craziest things happen behind the scenes and fizzle out before they have a chance to hit the public. But they will continue to happen indefinitely, because when somebody that missed out on regular social development is thrust into the middle of Las Vegas and offered seemingly endless fame, fortune, and women with no structure or safety net to fall back on, just an endless array of people encouraging them because they want to experience it too, they have to have an absolutely iron will to say no. So what's the solution? Well, it technically might not be their job, but in my opinion, at that point, if they want to protect their investment, it falls in the hands of the manager, who has to accept that the fighter is a fallible person, especially if they've been sheltered, and be able to predict and prevent these common pitfalls by exploring opportunities outside of fighting that will give them purpose and keep them from mindless self-destruction. And if you really pay attention, a lot of fighters thrive and avoid this lifestyle by channeling their energy into positive vices like Canelo Alvarez in golf, or Floyd Mayweather in real estate, or my favorite example that nobody ever seems to bring up, Forrest Griffin, who managed to turn himself into a full-fledged UFC employee behind the scenes, currently holding the title of Vice President of Athlete Development, who is sadly contrasted by Stephen Bonner, who launched his career on the same night and in the same way as Forrest did, but unfortunately ended up passing away from drug addiction. These are very common hazards in the world of MMA, and they are avoidable, but in order—
because I know Bonner was with that guy that was stealing money from Diego Sanchez, forget his name. I don't want to say an actual coach's name, but that guy that was stealing all the money and had the OnlyFans with Diego Sanchez, he was with that guy, the Fabia guy. Yeah, I believe his last name was Fabia. He was with that guy. If you guys think back on that video where Joshua Fabia is like, you guys never come talk to me, but the commentary is blah, blah, blah. And then like Paul Felder's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The person filming that video is Stephen Bonner. Like, he was with that whole crew. And to say that he died from drug overdose would make a lot of sense, that he was just rolling with that Joshua Fabia nonsense.
In order to avoid them, they need to be explored and acknowledged as well. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the—
shout out to GeeKay. I'm gonna hit that like button, y'all. Make sure to head over there, give him a like, let him know what you think about that video, tell him your boy sent you. Man, that whole take about the meth thing honestly I didn't agree with it right away. I was like, I knew the meth was an issue with Nick, right? But when I look at how Conor is moving, it's like, man, I didn't think that was cocaine. I've known lots of people to do cocaine. I've done cocaine in my life, ladies and gents. That weird movement, that doesn't look like cocaine to me. But I just known that Conor's a cokehead. I just assumed that, I don't know, maybe I didn't understand why he was twitching like that. But maybe, just maybe, millionaire Conor McGregor is doing meth. Maybe that's the case, ladies and gentlemen. That's a pretty interesting take from GeeKay. I don't think we could say that, I don't personally think I could say that CTE isn't as big of a factor. I think that's a huge factor. I think that's a huge factor with people in this profession choosing to do meth at such a late age. Like, I think the CTE is a huge factor. That's just my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you guys for being here once again. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see you guys when I see you guys.
Featherweight, I'm more Francis Ngannou. I be the biggest problem out of any nigga I know. A little old school, like some 45 vinyls. You niggas old duels, what that do to the wino? I do it the commercial way, pay without the splits.